Hello everyone, myself Dr. Naresh Tambe, and in this second semester's lecture, I welcome you all on behalf of Institute of Distance and Open Learning, University of Mumbai. Now we are starting lecture for semester 2, and I'll share screen with you so that we can start our lecture. So here, wait a minute, yeah, all right. Now, okay. So for semester 2, lecture 1, it is on thinking, language and intelligence. That is first chapter in semester 2. I'll show you first, before starting this actual lecture, I'll show you first our syllabus. Okay. So this is semester 2. If you have a book, or even if you don't have, you can see from the website, there's a PDF book available on your site. You can see that here there are there are 4 modules: thinking, language and intelligence. Second module is motivation and emotion. Third is personality, and fourth is statistics in psychology. Okay, understanding the data. Now, in this first unit of thinking, language and intelligence, there are 3 different units, and remaining 3 modules have 2 units. If you see the syllabus, here is a syllabus for this 4 module. Syllabus is given here. This is all in your book. I'm just showing you for your reference here. Okay. Now let's start the first lecture on thinking, intelligence, and what is that? Let me see. Thinking, language, and intelligence. So first we'll discuss about the thinking. Okay. Now let's understand about thinking. Most of our working hours, and even when we are sleeping, dreaming, or we think. So we in our working hours also, when we are sleeping or when we are dreaming, we are actually thinking all the time. Okay. Huh. Here I'll do. Okay. Thinking consists of the cognitive rearrangement and manipulation of both information from the environment and the symbols stored in long-term memory. So thinking is what? Thinking is a cognitive arrangement basically. And manipulation of what? Of information what we're getting from the environment and what is stored in our long-term memory. So thinking is what? It's a combination. It's an arrangement of our cognitive or cognition or manipulation. Whatever information we're getting from the environment, what is there already stored in our long-term memory. So we combine both the thing and we think on that basis. Okay. मराठीमध्ये सांगतो की आपण झोपलेला असो किंवा जागे असो किंवा स्वप्नात असो किंवा कोणत्याही प्रकारचं काम करत असलो तरीही आपण विचार करत असतो. विचार म्हणजे काय आहे की जे बोधन आहे आपलं, त्याची एक अरेंजमेंट आहे, त्याचं एक मॅनिप्युलेशन आहे. कशा प्रकारचं की वातावरणातनं येणारी इन्फॉर्मेशन जी आहे ती आणि आपल्या मेंदूमध्ये ऑलरेडी असणारी जी माहिती जी स्टोर आहे ती त्यांचं कॉम्बिनेशन करून आपण विचार करत असतो. How people think? Thinking is a closely related to learning, memory, intelligence, decision making, and language development. So thinking is closely related to learning. We cannot think if you don't have any learning. Okay, we cannot think if you don't have memory. We cannot think if you don't have intelligence. We cannot think if you don't have decision making. We cannot think if you don't have language. So these all things are related when we talk about the thinking. Okay. विचार आपण कसा करतो, तो कशाशी संबंधित आहे, तो आपल्या अध्ययनाशी संबंधित आहे, आपल्या स्मृतीशी संबंधित आहे, आपल्या बुद्धिमत्तेशी संबंधित आहे, आपल्या निर्णय घेण्याच्या क्षमतेशी आणि आपल्या भाषा ज्ञानाशी किंवा भाषेच्या विकासाशी संबंधित आहे. ओके. नाव नेक्स्ट पॉइंट इज concept. Okay. Now what is concept? I'll keep it here. What is concept? Concepts are an important class of language symbol. Okay, it's what? It's a language symbol. Okay, used in thinking. In thinking, what we use language symbol, it is called as concept. Okay, a concept is symbolic construction representing some common and general features of object or event. So what it is, it's what we can say, it's a representation of some general features or general what you can say characteristics of object or event. Okay, so for example, any event if you are seeing or any object you are seeing, what features comes to your mind when you are seeing that, or when you're thinking about when somebody is taking name of that object or the event, what representation coming in your mind about that particular object or that particular event, that we can call it as concept. Okay. मराठी सांगतो. कन्सेप्ट म्हणजे काय आहे, ही एक सिम्बल आहे. लँग्वेज विचार करताना आपण भाषेचे जे सिम्बल असतात त्याला आपण कन्सेप्ट म्हणूया. म्हणजे कसं असतं बघा, हे एक कन्स्ट्रक्शन आहे. कशाचं आहे, की एखाद्या वस्तूचं, एखाद्या घटनेचं रिप्रेझेंटेशन आपल्या डोक्यामध्ये कशा प्रकारे होत असतं. कशा प्रकारे आपण त्या वस्तूला, त्या घटनेला आपण कशा प्रकारे आपल्या डोक्यामध्ये ठेवलाय, कोणत्या वैशिष्ट्यांच्या आधारे आपण त्या गोष्टीला अंडरस्टँड करतो, तर ते म्हणजे कन्सेप्ट. ओके. So some natural or basic concepts are easily acquired and appear in thinking early in life. Okay. Some natural and basic concepts we learn in in our childhood, early in life, we learn that. Okay. Other concepts are acquired by discriminative learning by seeing example of the concept in different contexts and by definition. So there are natural concepts we learn in the early childhood only, okay, or childhood or early in life. But some other concepts we learn through our experience, through discriminating different learnings, examples, okay, context, and there are some concepts we are having with definition. So this is part of our learning. Now, a type scale. What is the types of concepts? So superordinate concept, basic level concept, subordinate concept, formal concept, and natural concept. These are 5 types of concepts there. So we'll see this. What is subordinate concept? Now it is the most general type of concept such as bird or vegetable or fruit. So we are not going to specify it. We are just saying bird. So when we hear this word bird, we understand is a species who can fly in the sky. Vegetable, fruit. So these are basic level, not basic, but subordinate concept. Okay, well, general type of concept. Okay, which we are not going talking about basic level or specification of it. There's a general type of words that we can call it as subordinate concept. ओके, म्हणजे सबऑर्डिनेट कन्सेप्ट म्हणजे काय, की ज्या कन्सेप्ट ह्या जनरल आहेत. जसं की आपण पक्षी म्हटलं, पक्षी कुठल्याचं नाव नाही म्हटलं, पण पक्षी म्हटल्यानंतर आपल्या डोक्यात काहीतरी येतं बा, एक असा जीव जो हवेमध्ये उडतो त्याला आपण पक्षी म्हणतोच ना, आहे की नाही. तसंच व्हेजिटेबल, तसं फ्रूट, आपण त्याची नावं घेत नाही. तर अशा प्रकारच्या कन्सेप्टला आपण सबऑर्डिनेट कन्सेप्ट म्हणूया. सेकंड इज बेसिक लेवल concept or basic level type. Now, what is basic level type concept is a basic level type of concept is one around which other similar concepts are organized. Okay, it is a one concept where other similar concepts are around that particular word, okay, or that concept, such as mango. So if you are saying mango is one, what you can say, subordinate concept, for example. But in the mango there are different types. So there are different types, like there are badami mango, there are what we can say hapus, there are langda, there are pairi, there are n number of alfonso as we call. Okay, so there are n number of different types. So these all similar concepts are around to that one word called mango, or some other name we can also take. So such kind of concept we call it as basic level concept. Now what is subordinate concept? First we are seen superordinate concept, then basic level concept. Now subordinate concept. What is subordinate concept is, it is the most specific type of concept. Specific, now we are coming to a very specification. It is most specific type, such as crackle Cadbury, chocolate, or name of your dog, or Kashmiri apple. So it is not here, now we're not saying mango, or we are not saying apple, but we are specifying here that hapus mango or alfonso mango, Kashmiri apple. So such kind of concept we can call it as subordinate concept. Okay. Now formal concept. Formal concepts refer to those concepts which have a strict definition. Formal concepts are generally taught in school and colleges as a part of academic activity. Now formal concepts are having definition. Okay, so असे जे कन्सेप्ट आहेत ज्यांना डेफिनेशन, ज्यांना व्याख्या आहेत, आणि जे आपण शाळेमध्ये आणि कॉलेजमध्ये शिकत असतो, त्या कन्सेप्टना आपण फॉर्मल कन्सेप्ट म्हणूया. What is natural concepts are those concepts that people form as a result of their experience in the real world. Okay, so in the real world, whatever we are understanding and we are forming an understanding of that particular concept, those all concepts we call as natural concepts. Okay. हा निसर्गाच्या अभ्यासातनं निसर्गाच्या अनुभवातनं आपण जे कन्सेप्ट आपल्याला कळतात त्याला आपण नॅचरल कन्सेप्ट असं म्हणूया. सो नॅचरल कन्सेप्ट आर नॉट वेल डिफाईन्ड. As like tomato is or vegetable, tomato is a vegetable or fruit. No, it's not well defined. Duck is a mammal or a bird. So such kind of like whale is a fish or a mammal. We are not sure about it. Right? So these are natural concepts are not well defined. We form concept about these as a result of our experience in the outside world. So whatever we are experiencing, we are having or forming concept in our mind about that particular uh, object or an event that we can call it as a natural concept. Okay. Now, what is mental imagery? Mental imagery म्हणजे काय बघूया. Mental imagery is also called as visual imagery or imagery, and is an important component, okay, of a human thoughts or cognition. Okay, it is what mental imagery is also called as visual imagery or imagery only, and it is an important component of human thoughts or cognition. Okay. Now, mental imagery refers to the representation that stand for object or event and have a picture-like quality. So, what is mental imagery is? It is like for a particular object or for particular event, we have some picture-like quality in our mind. So that is why we call it as mental imagery. All right. आपल्या मनामध्ये एखाद्या घटकाविषयी एखाद्या वस्तूविषयी एक अशी चित्र रूपाने एक फ्रेमवर्क तयार झालेला असतो एखाद्या घटनेचा एखाद्या वस्तूचा, तर त्याला आपण मेंटल इमेजरी असं म्हणू शकतो. म्हणजे एखादी वस्तूचं आपण नाव घेतलं, नाव पाहिलं की डोक्यामध्ये काहीतरी चित्र उभं राहतं. फळा म्हटलं, इफ यू से ब्लॅक बोर्ड अँड देयर मस्ट बी सम पिक्चर कमिंग इन युअर माइंड, राईट. फळा म्हटल्यावर डोक्यात काहीतरी चित्र येतं. सो दॅट वी कॅन कॉल इट ॲज मेंटल इमेज. ऑल दॅट. नाव अनदर कन्सेप्ट इज another term rather, prototype. Now, what is prototype is? Prototype is another important element of thinking. Like we have seen this mental imagery. Now here prototype is another element of thinking. Prototype can be defined as a mental image of a typical qualities of a member of some group or category. So what is prototype is? It's a mental image. It's a mental image we have about the qualities of some member of some group or some category. So maybe we can have some mental images in our mind about some religion people, some caste people, some language people, the people who are staying in some region. We have some mental images about those group or those category in our mind. So that we call as prototype. म्हणजे काय प्रोटोटाइप म्हणजे की आपल्या डोक्यामध्ये एखाद्या ग्रुप विषयी, एखाद्या समूहाविषयी, एखाद्या जातीविषयी, एखाद्या धर्माविषयी, एखाद्या भाषा बोलणाऱ्या व्यक्तींविषयी, एखाद्या ठिकाणी विशिष्ट ठिकाणी राहणाऱ्या लोकांविषयी ज्या काही मेंटल इमेजेस आपल्या डोक्यात असतात त्याला आपण प्रोटोटाइप असं म्हणतो. Prototype can be defined as a mental framework. For example, we have prototype for Indian political leaders, set in film stars and criminals. It is what? It's a mental framework. Okay. Okay, so we have that mental framework about anything, any leaders and film stars and criminals and anybody. So that is, we can call it as prototype. Many factors influence the development. Many factors influence development of formation of prototype. Some common factors which can form our prototype is what? Geographical region, culture, information and knowledge and experience. So where we are staying, what culture we are having, what information we are having, what experience we are having. On that basis, we form our prototype in our mind about person, about people, about others. ठीक आहे. आपण कुठे राहतो, तिथल्या लोकांचे विचार काय, आपण कोणत्या कल्चरमध्ये आहोत, त्यांच्या कल्चरचे विचार काय, आपल्याला कोणती माहिती आहे, आपले काय अनुभव आहेत, या सगळ्याच्या आधारानं आपले प्रोटोटाइप हे फॉर्म होत असतात. ओके. Now, problem solving strategy and obstacles. Okay, so this is the main point in this chapter, in this unit. In general, a problem can be any conflict or a difference between one situation and another situation we wish to produce our goal. Okay, in general, what problem is? What problem can be any conflict. Problem can be any conflict or difference between one situation and another situation. Difference between one situation and another situation we wish to produce our goal. Okay, so it's nothing but it's a difference between two situations. That's we can call it as a problem. Okay, now in trying to reach the goal of problem situation, we use information available to us from long-term memory and from our here and now perception of the problem situation. So how we reach to the problem solution? We reach the problem solution by using our own memory, which is having in our long-term memory, and by here and now, or what we can say in simple, in the present, in the present, what we are understanding from the situation. So we use our memory and we use the present situations, our understanding, and we solve the problem. Okay. Now there are some strategies of problem solving. So these are algorithm, heuristic, trial and error, insight. Okay, these are the problem solving strategies. Now what is algorithm? अल्गोरिदम म्हणजे प्रॉब्लेम सॉल्विंग स्ट्रॅटेजीचे काही 4 प्रकार आहेत. एक तर अल्गोरिदम आहे, मग ह्युरिस्टिक आहे, मग ट्रायल एंड एरर आणि इनसाइट आहे. ओके, सो व्हॉट इज अल्गोरिदम? Algorithm is a set of rules. Algorithm is what? A set of rules which, if followed correctly, we guarantee a solution to a problem. For instance, rule for the multiplication or rules for the mathematics, है ना? So it is what? It's a rules. It's a set of rules. If you follow particularly or properly, we can reach the solution. So such kind of things we can call it as a, or strategy we can call it as a algorithm. Okay, algorithm म्हणजे काय की एक सेट ऑफ रूल आहे, तो जर का आपण प्रॉपरली फॉलो केला तर आपण त्या प्रॉब्लेमचं सोल्युशन काढू शकतो. उदाहरण द्यायचं झालं तर गणितामधले जे नियम असतात, जे सूत्र असतात, त्याचे जे नियम आपण फॉलो केले तर आपण त्या उत्तरापर्यंत, त्या सोल्युशन पर्यंत पोहोचत असतो. ओके, व्हॉट इज ह्युरिस्टिक्स? Heuristics are simpler thinking strategy, usually based on our past experience and with problems, okay, that are likely to lead to a solution but do not guarantee success. So what is our past experiences with particular problem that help us to lead to solve the problem? Okay, it does not give the guarantee that you will succeed, but it gives you guidelines. Okay, it gives you ideas. So that is, we can call it as a heuristic. Heuristic म्हणजे काय आहे? ही एक सिम्पलर थिंकिंग आहे की आपण युजली आपण पास्ट लाईफ मध्ये काही सिमिलर प्रकारच्या प्रॉब्लेम आपण फेस केलेलं असतं आणि त्यावेळेला जर का आपल्याला तो एक्सपिरियन्स आपण वापरून आपण नवीन सिच्युएशनला सॉल्व्ह करण्याचा प्रयत्न करत असतो. वी मे लीड टुवर्ड सोल्युशन, बट वी कॅनॉट गिव्ह गॅरंटी. आपल्याला त्या कदाचित त्या सोल्युशन पर्यंत आपण पोहोचू शकतो, पण त्याची गॅरंटी ह्युरिस्टिक मध्ये असत नाही जसे अल्गोरिदम मध्ये असते. ओके, ट्रायल अँड एरर सगळ्यांनाच माहिती आहे. आपल्याला काही एखाद्या गोष्टीविषयी कोणता विचार नसतो किंवा कोणत्या गोष्टीविषयी, इफ यू डोंट हॅव एनी थिंकिंग अबाउट अ प्रॉब्लेम, or if you don't have any knowledge about the problem, then what we try is trial and error. आपल्याला जेव्हा कुठल्याही प्रकारचे सिस्टमॅटिक माहिती नसेल, त्याच्याविषयी काहीच माहिती नसेल, त्याच्याविषयी काही नॉलेज नसेल, तर आपण त्या प्रॉब्लेमला सॉल्व्ह करण्याचा जो प्रयत्न करत असतो त्याला आपण ट्रायल आणि एरर म्हणत असतो. व्हॉट इज इनसाइट? फॉर सम प्रॉब्लेम सिच्युएशन, from some problem, solution occurs suddenly. Insight occurs when the problem solver suddenly sees the relation involved in the task and is immediately able to solve the problem. So it sometimes suddenly you think that by observing a problem, you don't anything, but suddenly you think that here, hey, this is the way we can solve the problem. So that particular situation we call it as a insight. इन्साइट म्हणजे आपल्या सडनली तुम्ही एखादा प्रॉब्लेम सॉल्व्ह करत असताना सडनली तुम्हाला काहीतरी संबंध दिसतो, काहीतरी तुम्हाला त्यातनं मार्ग दिसतो जो तुम्ही आधी विचार केलेला नसतो, त्या क्षणाला तुम्हाला तो आठवतो. ॲट दॅट मोमेंट यू रिअलाइज की अरे दिस वे ऑल्सो वी कॅन सॉल्व्ह इट. सो दॅट इज कॉल्ड इनसाइट. ओके, त्याला आपण इनसाइट. आता ऑब्स्टॅकल काय आहे? व्हॉट आर द ऑब्स्टॅकल्स इन प्रॉब्लेम सॉल्विंग? ओके, जस्ट अ मिनिट. या, सो देर आर okay, so there are I think 4, yeah, okay, 1 2 3 4 5 obstacles are there which we can use to solve the problem. One is no, these are the obstacles which what we can say, which create problem in solving problem solving. So what are those obstacles? Functional fixedness. What is functional fixedness? Means that the functions or uses we assign to object tend to remain fixed or stable. Functional fixedness is a cognitive bias that limit a person to using an object only in the way it is traditionally used. So suppose a person who has used a particular strategy to solve a problem, when he has a similar situation, he don't think from other perspective. He has that fixed ideas of solving the problem. He don't look at others. This is the only I can solve. So that's kind of cognitive bias, we can say, which limits us to understand from different way, and we only follow the traditional way only which we have succeeded initially. Okay, so that is called functional fixedness. Then what is mental set? Mental set is a tendency to adopt a certain framework, strategy, or procedure, or more generally, to see things in a certain way instead of others. Mental set involve a kind of mindless rigidity that blocks effective problem solving. So mental set, like we have a tendency to see problem in a certain way. We don't want to understand others' perspective. We don't want to understand different perspective. We have some mindset and we follow that set only. So that again hinder it's a blockage for effective problem solving. Okay. फंक्शनल फिक्सेडनेस म्हणजे काय की आपण ज्या प्रकारे प्रॉब्लेम आधी सॉल्व्ह केला असतो ते आपल्या डोक्यात फिक्स असतं, आपण त्या प्रकारेच करायला जातो, पण वेगळा विचार करत नाही. मग त्याच्यामुळे प्रॉब्लेम सॉल्व्हिंग मध्ये हर्डल्स येतात, ऑब्स्टॅकल्स येतात. आणि मेंटल सेट मध्ये म्हणजे एखादी गोष्ट आपण अशाच प्रकारे बघण्याची आपल्याला सवय लागलेली असते आणि त्याच्यामुळे आपण तशाच प्रकारे बघतो, बाकीच्यांचे विचार आपण समजून घेऊ इच्छित नाही. सो दीज आर दी प्रॉब्लेम्स in problem solving. Okay. Now, confirmation bias. Now, what is that? Confirmation bias refers to a type of selective thinking whereby one tend to notice that to look for what confirms one's belief and to ignore or not look for undervalue the relevance of what contradicts one's belief. Okay, so confirmation bias is like we understand what is the things which supporting our beliefs, but we underestimate or we ignore the other beliefs which is not supporting to our beliefs. So that is, we can call it as confirmation bias. Confirmation bias is a phenomenon wherein decision makers have been shown to actively seek out and assign more weight to evidence that confirm their hypothesis, ignore the underway evidence that could disconfirm their hypothesis. Okay, so what I want to say, I will confirm if others view is supporting my view. If your others view are not supporting my view, I will ignore it, or I will not focus it. So that we can call it as a confirmation bias, which is problem in the problem solving. Okay, or it's obstacle in the problem solving, because you are not want to see others perspective or others view. Okay, all right. Now, using incomplete or incorrect representation, that is not to discuss, that's of course it's a problem, and lack of problem specific knowledge or expertise, that's also problem or obstacle in the problem solving. Okay, now forming good and bad decision, how we form good and bad decision. Okay, so decision making is a kind of problem solving in which a person must choose among several alternatives, right? Yeah, it's what is decision making? We have to choose different alternatives to solve the problem. In choosing among alternatives that involve certain amount of risk, we are often guided by heuristic rules. There are two types of heuristics. Okay. Now, just a minute. Yeah, what is heuristic? I want to say. What is heuristic? Is a simpler thinking strategy. Yeah, usually based on the past experience. So that is heuristic. Now here, I'm just reminding you. So here now we are on decision making. So we are guided by the heuristics, our past experiences. So here, available heuristics and representative heuristics. There are two types of heuristics which guide us to reach to the solution. Okay, so available, what is available heuristic and what is representative heuristics, we'll discuss here. Available heuristics. Availability heuristics is a mental shortcut that helps us make a decision based on how easy it is to bring something to mind. For example, we fear flying because we play in our head some air disaster. All right. So what is this is availability of heuristic is what? It is a shortcut, mental shortcut to reach to the solution, to make decision based on, okay, whatever we are having coming easily in our mind. So like we don't want to fly, we don't want to go into aeroplane because we have some disaster in our mind. We have heard from some people, some friends, some family members, and suddenly comes in our mind, and we avoid going into the aeroplane, right? So that is availability heuristics. shortcut. It's a mental shortcut. Now, what is representative heuristics? A mental shortcut that helps us make decision by comparing information to our mental prototype. Okay. For example, if someone was to describe an older woman as a warm and caring with a great love of children, most of us would assume that the older woman is a grandmother. So that is what we are doing. We are just comparing information. That is representative heuristics. So one, if you are having one information, we are relating to what experience you are having in your mind. So that is what we are comparing the information. That is called representative heuristics for decision and the judgment. Okay. Now, mean end analysis. Now, what is that two most important heuristics approaches in solving problem are as follows. One is what? Means end analysis. What is means end analysis? I will discuss. It is problem solving strategy in which solver compare the goal to the current state and then choose a step to reduce maximally the difference between them. In other words, the strategy involves figuring out the ends you want and then figuring out the means you will use to reach to the end. Okay. So what is mean end analysis is simple. Let's understand simply what end you want or what goal we can say. What end means what goal you want and what means you want to reach to the goal. That is called means end analysis. What preparation, what things you want to reach to the end which you have decided, that is called means end analysis. Okay. Now, analogy approach. It is an analogy. In an analogy, we use a solution to an earlier problem. We use a solution to an earlier problem to help with a new one. Analogy pervades human thinking wherever. Whenever we try to solve a new problem by referring to a known, familiar problem, we are using analogy. Okay. So when new problem you are solving, you are referring old similar problem, what strategy you have used there, you are referring here, that is called analogy. All right. When you are referring old problems, old similar problem with the new problem, then we can call it as a analogy. Okay. Now bad decision when it happens, when overconfidence there, when belief preservance is there. Okay. Now what is belief preservance? Our tendency to cling to our belief in the face to contrary evidence. When your tendency that you have to stick to your belief only, I will not change my belief. If that tendency is there, that then it's affect on a decision. Okay, so or we can take that time, we can take bad decision. The effect of framing. What is framing? Framing refers to the way we present an issue, way our decision and judgment. Okay, so that is the effect of framing. Bad decision kab hota hai? For example, it is given here when suppose example, imagine that two different surgeons are explaining a surgery risk to the patient. Okay, example, they very important, very interesting example. One surgeon say that 10% people die during the surgery. This is they are giving example to the patient. Okay, जिसका surgery करना है, ज्याची surgery का त्याला example देतात. One surgeon say 10% people die during the surgery. Another surgeon say 90% people survive in this surgery. Okay, now see, both are saying same, but what effect, what way they are framing, accordingly the effect will be there on the patient, right? तरी अशा प्रकारे हे ओव्हर कॉन्फिडन्स, बिलीफ प्रिझर्वन्स आणि इफेक्ट ऑफ फ्रेमिंगचा आपण याच्या आधारे आपण बॅड डिसिजन आपण घेऊ शकतो. आपण फ्रेमिंग कशा प्रकारे करणार? आपण असं म्हणणार का एखाद्या पेशंट, एखादा डॉक्टर म्हणणार की 10% लोक ह्या ऑपरेशन मध्ये वाचतात, दुसरा डॉक्टर म्हणतो 10% लोक मरतात असं म्हणतो, दुसरा डॉक्टर म्हणतो 90% लोक जगतात. तर कशा प्रकारे तुम्ही वाक्य फ्रेम केलं आहे त्याच्यानुसार समोरच्या माणसाला डिसिजन घेणं, तो योग्य डिसिजन घेईल की रॉंग डिसिजन घेईल ठरत असतं. ठीक आहे. तो अशा प्रकारे. त्याच्यानंतर thinking critically about fear factor. This is another main point in this chapter, in this unit. Why we fear the wrong things? Why we fear? We fear what our ancestors' history has prepared us to fear. What is our ancestors taught us to fear? They must have taught us to fear darkness, loneliness, snake, ghost. Okay, so what they have told us, what they have taught us, what they have always discussed, and we have heard from our childhood, and similarly with when we are getting when we are growing, we have grown up with this all kinds of concept of fear, and we have developed fear. We fear of what we cannot control, like driving we control, but flying we do not control, right? So we fear which we cannot control, the thing which we is not in our hand, it is not in my hand, so we may fear. We fear what is immediate. Suddenly something is coming, Arey, you have to do this or you have to do that. Suddenly, immediately, without having notice, without any prior information, suddenly something is coming, we have fear. Okay, we fear what is most readily available in memory. We fear that suppose a particular things come in your mind, and immediately there is some fearful situation, some suddenly is or near to your mind, which you can easily recollect from your mind. If such things are there, then we fear. Okay, so this way we fear, we have that fear. Then there are 2 units in this chapter more, so that we will discuss in next lecture. Thank you so much. Hold down. Yeah, we will stop the recording so that I can send the recording. Yeah. Thank you so much. See you in the next lecture.